Next, we're going to look at slope. Slope is going to allow us to graph lines in one more way, but we have some groundwork to lay first. Slope is a way to measure how steep a line is. There are a few ways to find slope. One way to find slope is if you are given two ordered pairs, you can use the slope formula. Another way to find slope is if you're given a graph, you can use rise over run, which you might also see as vertical change over horizontal change. Or sometimes you may even see that with this notation, delta y over delta x. The delta just means change. There are some special cases. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0, and when you use the formula, you'll end up with a 0 over some number. And vertical lines have an undefined slope. If you were to use the formula, you'd end up with some number divided by 0, and we know that we can't divide by 0, which is why we end up with an undefined slope. So let's start with an example of using the formula. So first I'm given two ordered pairs. I like to label the ordered pairs so that they match up with the formula. The first ordered pair will be your x1, y1, and your second ordered pair will be your x2, y2. Notice that the 1s and the 2s are subscripts, not exponents. They're just telling you which x and y coordinate you're working with, the one from the first or the second ordered pair. So then we go to use our formula, which is y sub 2, in this case that's 6, minus y sub 1, in this case that's 0, over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then you'll simplify that using order of operations, just like you usually would. And our final answer for this one is that we'd have a slope of 3. For this other example, we're going to do a very similar setup. We've got our first ordered pair and our second ordered pair. By the way, if you were to switch these, if you made the first one x2, y2 and the second one x1, y1, you would actually get the same solution. So it actually doesn't matter which one you pick. You just can't have something like, you couldn't have x1, y2. You have to decide on whether it's the first or second ordered pair and then stick with it. But to continue, we're using our slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and using our order of operations to simplify. And here's an example like we were talking about a moment ago. We've got negative 4 divided by 0, which means that these points, if I were to put a line through them, the slope would be undefined. It would be a vertical line. We like to categorize our lines by slope, and we've already talked about how vertical lines we say have an undefined slope and horizontal lines we say have 0 slope. A line that increases from left to right, we say that it has a positive slope, and in a calculation it would be a positive number. And a line that falls from left to right, we like to call that a negative slope. And again, if you were to do the calculation with it, you would get a negative solution. So looking at these examples here, we have 4 lines and 4 slopes. The slope that is positive would be this orangish line here, because it goes up from left to right. The slope that is negative would be this black line, because it goes down as you read it from left to right. A zero slope, remember, is a horizontal line, so that's this blue one here. And an undefined slope is a vertical line, so that's this yellow one here. Sometimes, again, we'll use this empty set notation instead of the word undefined if you like to use a little less writing.